I'm gonna need you to burn down 15 libraries by tonight, because I hate knowledge! No calls for the rest of the day. I need to be alone with my thoughts.
Sir, I'm sorry to bother you. My son made you this Christmas card.
Oh yeah, that's nice. It's called milking the cow. Let her up. Hey!
It's great, sir. I'll tell him you liked it.
Liked it! I loved it! Alright, anything else I can do for you, Haim?
No, sir. No, sir.
Get the f*** out of my office!
Sir, I apologize for interrupting your private moments. I was going to compliment you on that absolutely festive beard. It seems to have sprouted overnight on your face.
Tug on it, it's real. Ow!
But I have a couple of questions. You see, I've just been transferred over to Operation Kris Kringle. That's right, Operation Kris Kringle. And there's a couple of data points that I'm a little confused here. It says that there's 30% of the energy been sucked off from Santa since Halloween, but only 11% left until you fully inhabit the form, mind, body, spirit, soul of Santa Claus?
I'll be happy to explain it. You see, I got the idea from a Tim Allen movie called The Santa Claus. You see, I got Santa Claus tied up in the back room. I'm slowly ciphering off all of his Christmas energy, putting it in my own veins, slowly torturing him with chains and such, so I can become Santa Claus. There's 3 reasons for this. 1, the FBI can't indict Santa Claus. Number 2, I control all the world's coal. And of course, number 3, I get a new smoking hot wife, like Tim Allen did in the Santa Claus 2.
That's ingenious, sir. I hope that you want to skeet shoot the TV.
Yeah. Throw a TV in the air!
What? Crack shut!
I know! Thank you, Feldman. You may go now.
Sir, we got some terrible news!
What?
We need you to read this right away!
Read? Of course, I know how to read. Both of you turn around. Don't look.
Okay.
I don't want you seeing me reading. There, read it. Very great. That Brad Bart's a funny guy.
Whatever do you mean? This says Travis Irvine to host biggest Christmas special ever!
What?
Then that means he might generate enough Christmas energy to free Santa Claus. And your plans would be for naught.
That Irvine has been a thorn in my side forever. It's time to take him down.
It looks like this is a job for the Strategic Task Force of United Patriots. I'm going to get Stoop on the phone right away. Ding dong! Hello, Stoop? Yes, this is Larry Householder's office. I need you to go over to Travis Irvine's bunker right away. We have a Santa problem.
What's going on, boss?
Travis Irvine is in that Christmas bunker right now. He's got a legion of raccoons running the show for him, and it's almost impossible to break in. We got a limited amount of time, so we got to act fast, boys. 1, 2, 3, let's go!
Let's go!
Does that guy have a whip? Ooh. Thank you, Pookie. Yes, you are my favorite raccoon. We better start the show! Mikey, get me the biggest goose you see in the window. Frankie, I'm gonna need more Christmas lights for this place. Robbie, I need you to be a better raccoon. Oh, hello there. I'm Travis Irvine, and welcome to a very Merry Travmas 2020 Apocalypse Special Edition Extravaganza. Folks, you all saw at the beginning of the show, we don't have a lot of time. Santa is being held against his will, and the only way we can save him is if we have a Christmas Zoom show with more Christmas cheer to generate the energy for Santa to escape. And we gotta do it before Larry Householder's goons bust here into my bunker. Ugh, we're not gonna let that happen. Who's ready to do the best Zoom Christmas show ever? That's plenty for me. Let's get started. All right. No pizzas. I got it. 2020 has been a pretty awful year, but one thing that's gone very well is that the Ohio movie scene is absolutely crushing it on a national level. Here now to comment is an expert panel of movie experts who are from Ohio and they are experts. Let's talk to them. 2020 has been a crazy year, but there have been a lot of highlights in terms of the Ohio film scene. Well, what are some things that stand out for you this year?
All in all, it's been okay. We've made some progress. We figured out how to work in times like this when people get creative and they figure out ways to work and they figure out ways to make things happen. And they do. They go out there and they make it happen.
I think the best news is we've gone virtual. We do virtual auditions now. We do virtual commercials now. We're doing virtual interviews right now as we speak. We're just transitioning into a new period.
As a movie lover, this has kind of been awful and great at the same time. The choices that you can watch classics and new movies streaming and on demand, that has been pretty great.
Yeah, I'm going to go all the way back to January of 2020. Columbus had a really strong presence at the Sundance Film Festival. I was helping out a new initiative for Indigenous Filmmakers Lounge. The first one that's ever been done at Sundance. It was hugely successful. Literally, as we all know, right after that, everybody shut down. Production around the globe came to a halt. Some people were saying, it'll only be a couple months or something, and then we'll be back to normal. And you know what happened. So during the whole shutdown and lockdown, I did a small contest called the Stuck at Home Film Contest for Franklin County and surrounding counties. And it went over really well. And then after that, we started putting together guidelines for shooting during COVID. So that took a couple months. And I worked with several other film commissioners around the country. We heard from SAG-AFTRA about these guidelines and people started calling back about commercial shoots. And then surprisingly, we had a film shoot in August, a feature film shoot here in Columbus called They, Them, Us. And they pulled it off. They did a great job and everybody stayed safe. They followed all the union guidelines. They followed guidelines that we had set up. For 2020 being such a crappy year, people are getting back to work, but it's not like it was before, but it's slowly getting there.
What is it about Ohio that you think is so appealing to filmmakers from around the country?
First things first, it's going to be the tax credit. If we didn't have a tax credit, a lot of these projects would not be here. We have a great commercial industry here and people stay really busy during that. Think of a lot of the companies that are based here. Hopefully there'll be more coming up next year. We have a diverse locations portfolio, urban settings, right here downtown, and you go 20 minutes any direction, you find some rural, and then you go a little bit further out, you're really rural. I know it sounds cliche and we talk about this all the time. It's, the Midwest sensibility and people are just willing to help here.
Ohio is low key, we're like your hometown chicken noodle soup. We've got everything you need. We've got big cities. We've got, wooded areas. We've got great people, great actors, great crew. I think that's all you need. And we've got cheap incentives. And that's really what brings people to us.
In my experience, having made short films and feature films here in Ohio, they have a don't say can't attitude, never say die. They find ways to work. And at least in my experience with the people that I've worked with, and I've worked with some great people, there is a definite spirit of community and we're all in this together. As corny as that may sound, it's more than necessary component with low budget filmmaking in order to be successful.
We're framing this industry as a recovery vehicle from COVID. This industry can put people to work immediately. There's a stat that says that 67% of spending on a film project is outside of the immediate production spend. So that's, again, like hospitality and transportation and that sort of thing. This is a really good recovery vehicle from COVID for the community, Columbus and the state as a whole. I think we can really push that initiative and push that fact that we could really use this industry to bounce back from this.
I know that there have been other films with a higher caliber cast. I know that Schwarzenegger was here. I know that Travolta was here. I know that Bruce Willis was here at some point. And I also know that none of those films have been released in theaters. They went straight to digital streaming format or DVD. And it had nothing to do with COVID. While our films may not have big names, who's to say that those films are any better or worse than our films?
Any comments on the fact that a movie like Killer Raccoons 2 could get pulled off in Ohio and then rise to where it did in 2020?
The best news coming out of Ohio film-wise. Is Killer Raccoons 2?
Well, I think Killer Raccoons is an amazing film. It's got action, it's got raccoons, it's got amazing Ohio actors. You know, it's got everything you need to enjoy this holiday season.
I was actually able to go to the theater, sit in a seat, and watch it without fear. The fact that you've been able to extend the run and the fun of Killer Raccoons 2 through the pandemic.
It was good to hear that it came out. It was even better to hear that it was the number one comedy for 2 weeks in America.
Your film makes no qualms about what it is or what it was, which I think is one of the joys of it. It's just pure, unadulterated ridiculousness from start to finish. And that's what I love about it.
Killer Raccoons 2 is a cinematic achievement of the highest order, locally, globally, however you want to slice it. It's silly. I mean, really, Christopher Nolan should be contacting you any second now, because you, Travis, have the power to resurrect and save the theatrical experience.
Yes, thank you, Johnny. That's the kind of positive thinking we need for 2020 to make sure Ohio movies are where they belong in history. Don't you worry, Mrs. Householder. We will have him back in one piece. Couple of pieces. He might not come back ever. He's burning hell. Well, first and foremost, how did we end up here? How did Ohio politics get so toxic that Larry Householder felt compelled to kidnap Santa? To answer this question, we've compiled a panel of some of the top Ohio political experts in the country and in Ohio. In terms of 2020, what are some of the good, some of the bad, the biggest stories of the year that you were involved with personally or that you had a front seat to, perhaps?
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously my campaign was a highlight of 2020 Ohio politics. I think we can.
I would agree. We were so glad you were there.
HB6 and just how corrupt the Republican state legislature was a pretty profound story. Hard to say it was surprising. I think the only thing that folks found really surprising about it was just like the scale of the scandal.
The biggest political bribery scandal in state history, $61 million bribery scandal controlled by the Speaker of the Ohio House.
We can't gloss over HB 6, that crazy bullshit bill that creates the Ohio Clean Air Program, but was really just a nuclear bailout that has gotten a bunch of Republicans hucked in prison, Larry Householder being one of them. And it all comes back to Neil Clark, Ohio's famous, repeatedly arrested, repeatedly harangued by the FBI Republican lobbyist who just seems to be knee-deep in this bullshit every time you turn around. He's the same guy trying to keep us from regulating payday lenders a few years back and almost went to prison for that.
That's definitely a big story. And then just the abysmal management of COVID and DeWine trying to like maintain that one-party rule by also appealing to folks who seem to not only have no respect for the rule of law, also no respect for their own health or the public safety.
You had 1,000 people show up at the Capitol opposed to masks, and all of them were armed. You know, so you didn't see that in the older conservative Ohio. But the new group, right, anti-mask and pro-Trump and opposed the Black Lives Matter movement, it's a different type.
But one of the most interesting political developments in Ohio has been how out of step the Republican executive has been with the Republican legislature. There's a lot of infighting right now between the governor and the legislature, especially over safety protocols of all things in the middle of a pandemic.
And the more recently, we had Senate Bill 27, which is heading to DeWine's desk. It is a fetal remains disposal requirement bill. So the Republicans forced that through during lame duck, as they are wont to do with their more heinous abortion restrictions, and it is just making Ohio even more hostile to women and women's health care.
We've had everything from what was going on in Ohio politics anyway with stand your ground laws and abortion bills and kind of this far right agenda that the legislature has that's kind of out of step with a lot of people across the state. Majority of public opinion is against them on these issues. And then the coronavirus pandemic came along and just threw everything into chaos. So the big thing that we do at the Ohio Capital Journal is tell the stories of everyday Ohio Ohioans. So you had Ohioans dealing with furloughs, loss of work, unpaid bills, sickness and disease, food insecurity, child care problems. I mean, it just goes on and on, the issues that they were dealing with that we were reporting on. And then in the State House, you have Republicans working against the governor on everything from COVID safety protocols and to his ability to issue health directives. And then you also have the huge protests against the injustice of our justice system. And then you have the election news, the fact that Ohio's insanely gerrymandered for one-party rule. And so for the fifth election cycle in a row, for instance, Ohio congressional districts, not one seat changed hands. The election was just more securely giving Republicans that one-party majoritarian control. It's been a pretty wild year for the news.
How would people know Larry Householder, and what should they know him from?
So Larry Householder might be familiar to some people because he is a recent Speaker of the Ohio House. He was luckily replaced, even though he's still a member of the House. Interesting that he's a member of the House because he is currently in prison waiting trial for being a deeply corrupt son of a bitch, which came forward mostly through the passage process of HB 6.
In trying to bail out nuclear companies that were irresponsible and also put the burden on Ohio taxpayers to cover the bailout. He's a pretty illustrious character in Ohio politics.
The man's been taking kickbacks, greasing palms, along with Neil Clark pretty regularly, and that all came to the forefront with this incredibly corrupt bill that for some reason the Republicans, even though they control both chambers and have the governor, have not seen fit to repeal, which is super bizarre given that it was clearly passed through one of the most corrupt bill processes we've seen in this state.
He and several others are under indictment and the investigations are continuing. The FBI just raided the Public Utility Commissioner's house.
And just, the sturdiness of Larry Householder, his ability to take that scandal, keep moving, and not be held accountable. Also a classic Ohio story.
One of the ways that people would have originally known Larry Householder was when he was Speaker of the House for the first time back in the early aughts there. And he was wrapped into another political scandal and ended up resigning his seat. Now he worked his way back to the speakership and back to power.
And then he reemerges in the last half decade and becomes Speaker again. But the one thing they should note about Larry Householder, not only is he involved in the largest bribery scandal in the history of the Buckeye State, but Mr. Householder's commercials are classics. Essentially, he was out by a giant basket, literally saying pull, and then shooting a TV with a shotgun to convey the message that this is the new Ohio, which is like the old Wild West.
Why do you think Larry would kidnap Santa? Why would he do something like this? How do you see this playing out?
I mean, I guess there is a chance that perhaps Larry Householder was jealous of Santa.
Well, Larry is known for not wearing a mask and kind of leading that effort in the State House and the anti-COVID program. And he's also known for his Second Amendment commercials with him shooting televisions and whatnot. So I have to assume Larry Householder has kidnapped Santa for two reasons. One, to stop him from giving out masks to people for Christmas for basic COVID safety, and perhaps also to make sure that Santa starts giving out Glocks.
Because Larry Householder kidnapped Santa the same reason bank robbers rob banks. Santa's got the jack. Santa's got the loot. What Householder knows is money. That's what's keeping him out of jail at this moment, by holding Santa hostage.
Honestly, I'd have to wager that Larry Householder, being the stupid man that he is, Larry Householder is a very dim, unintelligent human being. Honest to God believes that coal winds up in people's stockings because coal comes from Santa Claus. And now that his nuclear bailout scheme has been put on the racks, the man thinks that we're going back to coal. He thinks that it's magicked up by elves up in the North Pole, probably why he believes in stupid bullshit like clean coal. I wager that's why he's kidnapped Santa Claus.
Do you think Santa's gonna make it out of this thing alive?
I have faith in Santa. I have a lot of faith in Santa. And First Energy, Larry Householder, all these guys, they're willing to do a lot of things, but are they really going to want Santa blood on their hands?
Wow. Morgan, that's the quote of the night. Thank you so much. Santa blood on their hands.
You can't stop me, Irvine! Every second I grow stronger, I'm sucking the life out of Santa Claus as we speak.
That's right, 14 rat poison pizzas to Larry Householder's farm. And anybody want anything else? Ricky, cheese pizza, and 1 cheese pizza to a secret bunker. Alright, I can't tell you where it is, then it wouldn't be secret. 30 minutes or it's free. Bye! And now we must continue our conversation about Ohio politics and how they got so bad that someone like Larry Householder could just come out of nowhere and not just kidnap Santa, but almost destroy the entire world. Here to discuss this now are 3 men very familiar with Ohio politics, specifically because they have a job that I have never had nor will I ever get. Please welcome 3 past and present Ohio governors to discuss Ohio politics. Gentlemen, why? Together we can screw Ohio over even more.
Well, thanks for having us here, Travis. I consider you a friend and an adversary. We did run against each other, but here we are again, and it feels good to be here with you.
I am joined now by a man who needs no introduction, except I have to add on that he's now dead.
I have to take issue with the fact that I'm dead. As you'll soon understand, I'm not dead at all. I'm just in a parallel universe.
So you're in limbo. It sounds a lot like the Ohio State Legislature.
Statewide politics? I think you'd have to go back to 1968 when the Honorable Governor of Alabama, George Wallace, was running as a third-party independent. He did quite well in the very same Southwest Ohio counties that right now they're brewing up articles of impeachment against my good friend, Governor DeWine.
Here's the thing about strong Ohioans. If there's anything strong Ohioans know, it's that you don't vote for a guy like me because you're gullible or because you're dumb. You vote for a guy like me because you're gullible and dumb. So I'm not really letting anyone down because no one really expected much of me to begin with, Travis. And, we're just having a great time here at the governor's mansion. I'm talking to you live from the cook's kitchen. Fran and the grandkids are out back wrestling around, trying to get loose to play a game of baseball as they do. It's important to keep expectations low.
How do you respond to all these guys who are trying to impeach you every few weeks?
It's been difficult for strong Ohioans to lash out at people as people keep stepping down. I tried to throw Amy Acton to the wolves, and they got a taste of the blood, and they kept coming back. And I thought maybe they ran her out of town, and that's all they want, but they keep coming after me. Oh,
Mike. Don't let the bastards get you down. Back in the days when I was the mayor of Cleveland, we had some real nuts in city council back then, but we worked with the nuts. They came to the table. We gave concessions. We took concessions. I'd like to say that we took more concessions than we gave. Hey, you probably heard about this rumor once that I was standing using a urinal next to a guy from the State House using a urinal. And the guy told his friend, he was a Democrat. The guy told his friends later, he says, at Voinovich, he is such a skinflint that he noticed there was a nickel in the bottom of that urinal, down there next to the mints. He bent over and picked up that nickel and put it in his pocket. That's not true entirely. I washed my hands and washed that nickel before I put it in my pocket.
We're dealing with a situation now. This Larry Householder guy, he's kidnapped Santa. How do you see this playing out?
Well, that's simple. I got another friend that's still pretty active in Republican politics. I don't know for how much longer. I'll call John Kasich. Kasich's good at getting attention to things. He'll be outraged.
I raised sales taxes, increased the state budget, eliminated the rights of women and unions, and created jobs for my rich friends. I want your sons and daughters to struggle in Ohio, not in some other place.
He's got kids. His dad was a mailman. Think of all the Christmas cards to the little kiddies over in Pittsburgh that his dad delivered December after December, year after year.
Me and my rich friends have made Ohio the best place for Wall Street to exploit middle-class families.
I just wanted to be governor for 6 years so I could run for president in 2016.
And by only working with my rich friends, we're making each other richer.
No, Kasich won't stand for this. Plus, well, I don't know. I don't know about Kasich and Householder, but that Santa Claus thing.
As you know, Travis, every time something with Larry happens, I send a strongly worded letter, and I have my communications staff type up a set of tweets that will say a bunch of things without really saying much at all. So here at the governor's mansion, we've been asked by our overlords, and that is to say the people who give us money to run our campaigns, to do as much as possible without doing anything at all. So to Larry, I would say, come on.
Strong words, Governor DeWine. You look at some of the governors of the past. What do you draw from them to deal with what you're dealing with now?
When it comes to governing, I think the less you know, the better. So I've run on a platform of talking a lot and bringing experts in to talk around me and to point at things and to give you numbers and then to do nothing with that data. So the thing that I've taken the most from previous administrations is a whole bag of nothingness. I know that there are lessons to be learned, and hell, I've seen numbers that could say, maybe take this thing seriously or that thing seriously, or fund that or don't fund this. And at the end of the day, I got 17 grandkids, which is exactly as many Bibles as I swore on for the oath of office. And, there will be a day where I'm not here anymore, and I'll take everything that I've learned and do nothing with it on that day. And I'll retire and watch baseball with the grandkids and Fran. And, while we're here, we talk about ties every day. Fran and I get together in the morning, we talk about ties. And this is one, and Fran likes to call me an optimist, but I think it's important to say that people think of me as an optimist because it's something that comes across as an insult, but it's not. And someday I'll be dead and I'll have done nothing. And that's what's important, Travis, is to govern and not protect people and not learn lessons and not do much about anything.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, hold on. Put him down.
Okay, guys, that didn't work. Let's enact Plan B.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honored now to be joined by a man who many call the president-elect, and many others just call him a wily old man who's out of his element. But I'm very excited for him to take the Oval Office over, whether by force or by fun, and that's why we're very excited to be joined by President-elect Joseph R. Biden. President Biden, thanks so much for being here.
That's a good job there. Thanks. It's nice to talk to you there, Tad. Let me tell you. Let me slam this down for you, Sam. We need a country where America can go to work, and when they get to work, they clock in. They get told it's time to clock out and go back out to work. America needs to come together. A series of vagueness. I remember in America there was a place, and that was a place we could all sit down to.
Absolutely, sir. And you did a great job. You won all the big states that Trump won in 2016, except my home state of Ohio. I've had to explain to all my friends on the coast, Ohio's pretty much...
Whoa, calm down, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and not so young no more. We'll get to Ohio. Just as soon as the reindeer sled pulls down. I'll be president of Ohio. Look, I sat down with Sherrod Brown. I've been stuck with a bill when Dennis Kucinich stiffed me at a vegan pasta restaurant. Let me tell you something. I know Ohio like the back of a bowling ball.
Well, you did a hell of a job here in Ohio, Mr. Vice President. You took the trains from Cleveland to Toledo. That's the only place where the trains run. But you ate a lot of good ice cream. What do you think of Ohio? Why do you think you didn't win Ohio? Is it because it's just a big old Republican mess now?
Who needs to win Ohio? Who needs to win a state of Ohio? Or a state of Iowa? It's too many vowels. I don't want to win a state that's all vowels. I want a state that's got a lot of nice hard consonants. Michigan, some of them are soft. You got a sh sound in there, Michigan, but it ends with a hard N. I don't want something that ends in an O or an ah. Mississippi. It's got plenty of consonants, but it is an I. I don't want a vowel sound. Sometimes A-I-O-U. I'm not interested in pandering to you. Sometimes why?
That's amazing, Mr. President. That's why the majority of Americans, over 75 million of them, voted for you, sir.
Why would you need a state like Ohio? That's like saying I need to win a caucus in a Cracker Barrel. That's like saying I want to stop off on a highway and sit down and get a platter full of blooming onions down at the Outback Steakhouse And then after that, roll right next door over to Cheddar's. Sit down on a wooden porch swing at Cheddar's. The whole state of Ohio is just, you pull off an interstate and there's just more restaurants. That's the entire state.
You ain't wrong, Mr. President. You ain't wrong.
As president, I promise if I'm elected president of the United States, promise first day if I'm elected president of the United States, I'm going to take the state of Ohio, roll it up inside the state of Tennessee, put them behind my back, and then say, pick which one, and we're going to switch in places. Ohio's going to go down to Tennessee. Tennessee's up to Ohio. Can't tell the difference one way or the next. Columbus looks the same as Knoxville, especially at night. You see a sign for an Exxon. You see a sign for a TGI Fridays. I believe this country needs to have a time for a TGI Exxon. That's my policy.
Amazing stuff, Mr. President. What do you got to say? We got a situation here. The Speaker of House, a man named Larry Householder, he's kidnapped Santa. You're trying to bring this country together. What do you say to Larry Householder to save Santa?
Hold on a second here. It's hard for me to keep up with the Cleveland Plain Dealer. Look, I got some local newspapers that are Cleveland Plain Dealer all the way down to Cincinnati Bad Dealer. You got a guy, when you say a sentence like Speaker of the House, Larry Householder, what was it? Come again?
Well, he's kidnapped Santa, and we don't want him to kill Santa. What do you, as someone who's trying to bring the country together?
Sounds like a bad episode of third season of the Get Along Gang, if you ask me. Got a guy named Larry Householder. It sounds like a Care Bear cousin. Sounds like he pulled his pants down. He's got the shape of a shamrock down there. God knows. I'll tell you that. God and Beelzebub know. You pull my pants down, I got a little clover leaf down there. You know what that stands for? Delaware.
That's why you're the president, sir.
I got branded. I was branded. Me and Corn Pop, we had a choke fight to the death. We both died, resurrected. Jammed our fingernails down each other's throats. And I slapped him. He came back at me with a hot iron brand of a clover leaf. Wham! Right in the sweet spot.
Incredible.
The only people I've seen are my beautiful, beautiful wife, Jill Biden, Kamala Harris. She had to know the nuclear code she's getting into, Jim. And of course, Bernie Sanders and I. We had Bernie Sanders. Like I said, we got some camping trips down there. Camping trips. Play a game of seesaw, if you know what I mean. You catch my drift.
Absolutely. Bernie's going to be a part of your administration. Is that right, President?
That's right. It's my first day in office. You know, Trump's coming out. There's this bad guy, Donald Trump. You know what he's doing? He's pardoning people who don't deserve a pardon. Joe Biden, my first day in office, you know what I'm going to do? By the way, I promise to do a lot of things on my first day in office. And I'm going to keep doing that. On my first day in office, I'm going to make 500 more promises to fulfill that first day in office. My first day in office, I'm going to pardon across the board the Boy Scouts of America. I'm going to pardon the Boy Scouts of America. Why? Nothing I wouldn't have done. Get in there with some shoulder. America has a bad case of dandruff. They got me to come in for the Head and Shoulders.
That's why we elected you, Mr. President.
Selsun Blue.
Selsun Blue.
Selsun Blue, Head and Shoulders. You know where I'm at. You know where I'm at, Mac.
That's right. That's why you
want to take this fight outside. That's what I told him. You want to take this fight outside. I'll snap up with you like Jean-Claude in the Trans Am against Cobra Commander, pal. That was a war I voted for. I didn't serve in, but I voted for the brief military incursion into Cobra.
Well, God bless you, Mr. President-elect. We need you now more than ever. Is there anything you'd like to say to Santa right now to help him feel better?
I'll tell Santa. I'll look Santa right in his eyes, and I'll tell him like this. I'll look him right in his eyes. Your reign of terror is over, pal. We know you're flying around, violating airspace. You haven't paid taxes. You got a whole lot of capital gains taxes coming your way. We're going to let a lot of people off the hook. Tom Vilsack's in the Department of Agriculture secretary because we got to make sure the family farmers get cracked down on. Got to make sure that Archer's, Daniel, Midland, and all the big agribusinesses need to put an agri smile on their agri face. when it comes to Santa Claus, I got marching orders. First day in office, January 20th, 2021. Santa Claus, you're done for. We're gonna lean on Mrs. Claus to turn state's evidence. I don't care if jurisdiction guys go to the North Pole, pal. My dad used to drive a sleigh, stick shift. Let me tell you, that man could drive. And that's what this country elected me on.
That's what we elected you on, sir. We need you to drive this stick shift sleigh and get the hell out of here. Can you give us a wave and say Merry Travmas?
Hold on a second. You got me stuck in this damn box here, kid. This guy knows what he's talking about. I just have to, I might nominate you to be Secretary of Ohio. I'm elevated to a cabinet level position.
You can count on me, Mr. President-elect. I'll serve that position well.
Hey, it's a position I like to appoint people to my cabinet, be it Kamala Harris or Travis Irvine, that can't get elected to office. So I like to toss them a little bone.
Thank you, sir. I need my little bone. Always need a little bone.
Careful, stay there, pal. Careful what you wear. I come from a land of shag, carpets, and barbiturates. When somebody puts that out on their front bumper or license plate, they're not getting the keys out of the bowl for a couple of days.
Well, great. Thank you, Mr. President-elect. Can you give us a Merry Travmas?
I believe in handouts, whether they're slogans or urgently needed funds for American people. I'm not going to... Look, I wish you a hard work, Travmas. That's the kind of... When I was a kid, we used to pull ourselves up by a snowplow. We had 2 snowshoes, and we'd pull ourselves up out of the shoe. There were 5 siblings down below that didn't get out of the snow. Every single one of us had 5 young siblings that didn't survive. That's what it was like. That was the cold times, late 1960s. I'll tell you that.
Is that your favorite Christmas, Mr. President?
My favorite Christmas was the bombing of Cambodia. I've always been a lifelong Democrat, but on every single issue that mattered at all, whether it's foreign policy, domestic policy, or sports trivia, I've always on the big tent pole ideas. I always back to back, shoulder to shoulder with Richard Nixon, all the worst Republicans. Because I'm a Democrat, but I'm sensible, and that's the way in American politics we talk about somebody who's going to disappoint you in a way that they telegraphed from the very beginning. You hear me, Clydesdale?
Yes, sir. I hear you loud and clear, by God.
Open there, pal.
By God. Well, thank you, sir.
Happy to you, yours and yours.
Happy corn pop to you, sir. Thank you for your service. Thanks for defeating the worst president we've ever had.
God bless. God bless and fuck you. We're about to have austerity.
Wow. Well, thank you, President-elect Joe Biden, for that incredible insight. Although, according to Newsmax, you ain't shit. Coming up next, a commercial break. And then after that, more show to save Santa. You put up an electric fence pizza all around my bunker, especially around my favorite raccoon, Pookie. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye. Folks, as we talked about, the Ohio movie scene has been crushing it. But there's one Ohio movie that crushed it extra hard this year. It was the #1 comedy in America for 2 weeks, because for 2 weeks there were no other new comedies in America. That movie is called Killer Raccoons 2, Dark Christmas in the Dark, and it's just as dumb as it sounds. So we're going to talk to the cast and crew all about it before those darn SWAT team members breach my perimeter.
It was a #1 comedy in America, over the summer. That was a really good time, right in the heart of the thick of this.
I watched Killer Raccoons 2 about 45 times this year. And every single time I watched the first Killer Raccoons first, just so I know what's going on.
I think we saw the highest voter turnout in American history over the past century. And I think Killer Raccoons 2 played no small role in that, because people saw that movie and then decided, enough is enough. We're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore.
Who said that you had to have Will Ferrell to make a comedy movie? Hell no. Yang Miller. Give me Yang Miller. Show up on time every day, flexing, sexy as shit. Punching raccoons in the face, they didn't have a chance.
You can have Christmas in July. You can have Christmas in December. Christmas is one of those times, and Killer Raccoons are one of those things that you can just experience all the time. And as we've seen from the viral videos lately, the raccoon situation, these little trash bandits are just getting out of control.
It lended itself to the ridiculousness of this year. There's been multiple news stories involving raccoons.
I mean, we all know how, feisty they are. They're always in disguise.
Nature is wild, baby. It can be fun too, but it can also kill you.
And they have fingers.
It's only a matter of time before. Wait, do they have thumbs?
They got thumbs. They got thumbs.
They got thumbs.
They can shoot guns. You saw it.
Adorable, but they can be threatening if not respected. And well, isn't that just the human condition?
Like they attacked the White House. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
Nothing that small should have fingers. I don't even think babies should have fingers.
We need allies, man. We need furry-tailed, little mask-wearing allies that can help us out and fight evil and hold machine guns and save Christmas and the world.
Well, during Killer Raccoons, we were all about fighting masked bandits, and now we're all masked. So aren't we really fighting the evil within?
When you see a movie that shows that we could live in an environment where raccoons are killing people, it sort of shows that the life that we are living is not as, evil as it could be. The movie really puts a lot of things in perspective.
Why was Killer Raccoons 2 so important, not just to 2020, but to your career personally? Here in Columbus, we've been dealing with a lot, and sometimes it's just nice to have a dumb ray of sunshine to get through the curtains and smack you around like a raccoon paw. Why do you think it's important?
The most important reason is that it gave me an IMDb credit, which is pretty great.
I finally have a reason to have an IMDb page.
I got my first IMDb credit.
Well, it got me out of overdubbing for Spanish language pornography and got me back, to where I need to be in a cinema, as opposed to reading from cue cards in a basement in Van Nuys, California.
I had a lot of fun, freezing nearly to death and crawling around in broken glass. That's what every actor dreams of. It was all made better by occasional pizza.
Because I'm all about getting to a point where I don't have to work a regular job ever again. I'm just going to coast by, hopefully getting to play Santa in movies.
This is our year to shine. The competition's nil, baby. We're coming in. We're the only ones with product. Travis Irvine never stops working. He's coming into a time when no one's got anything. He's got 2 movies. You go screw everyone else. You go, he doubled your directing resume this year.
So you feel Killer Raccoon movies actually made the populace more aroused?
Yes, much more aroused.
Be in the moment and let yourself experience what's happening and stay masked up and have a great time, and that'll do it.
That movie was half documentary, half third sequel to Under Siege, half raccoon bodies exhibit.
This year has just been hellacious for everybody. So I think whatever kind of silliness we can have, whether that's on our screens or in our homes, is welcome. In TV and movies have helped get me through this. I have sent many a friend and family member to this movie. So I hope that it brought some joy to them as much as it did to me to make it.
Thank you. Okay, guys, bathroom break. Done my stinking, ready for my thinking. How are we gonna get inside? Me.
Excuse me for just a minute. What's that, Pookie? You're my favorite raccoon. Larry Householder's SWAT team has breached the perimeter? Oh my god. We've got to increase our guests by 80% so we can make enough Christmas cheer to save Santa. Let's go!
Santa, get well. We're on our way.
Larry, can't you just leave Santa alone? I mean, don't we have enough things to worry about? Fran, baseball, grandkids, picking out ties in the morning. We don't have time for this. Come on.
Santa, get better, baby. We need you, Santa Claus.
Hey, Santa. Beat the shit out of Larry Householder, please.
From one Santa to another, please.
Please save us, Santa.
I'll have my staff send out a tweet. Larry, leave Santa alone. Come on.
Get out, man!
Get well, Santa.
It's a matzo ball soup!
You got this.
Get well soon.
Save us, Santa!
Save us, Santa. Larry Householder sucks.
Keep Householder away from my
Save us, Santa.
Santa Claus!
It's clear!
It's clear!
It's clear!
Sir, please!
Clear!
Please,
Clear, sir, clear! Well!
Larry Householder. I'll call you back.
If it isn't Travis Irvine, the monkey in my wrench, the fly in my ointment, the son of a bitch, eat lead!
Larry, no! What about some music? And there's no better musician I know than local musician Bobby Dawson. Bobby, are you there?
Oh, there's no place like Zoom for the holidays. 'Cause no matter how far away you roam, when you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can't beat Zoom, sweet Zoom. Everybody!
Well, there's no place like Zoom for the holidays.
That's all
I don't know the rest of the.
When you're talking to people you can't see.
If you want to be happy in a million Zooms.
For the
holidays, you can't beat Zoom, sweet Zoom.
Zoom, sweet Zoom.
Woo! Hey, get out of Tennessee there, baby. Eat pumpkin pie!
Yeah.
Ha! Ha! Hear the holidays you can't be home, sweet Zoom.
Well, there's no place like Zoom for the holidays. And here we are at the governor's mansion, and there's no sport for the holidays like baseball.
And no place like Zoom for the holidays.
Your family will see you with care.
And you can mute your angel.
Give me that pumpkin pie!
For many days. There's no place like Zoom for the holidays. Turn on your background, pants are optional. Family, friends, all together again.
There's no place like
Zoom
for the holidays.
Zoom me, baby.
I love Zoom.
No matter how far away you
ways. For the holidays, you better just stay home.
Hey!
And oh, hey, how about if we just cut it off there?
Fuck you!
Looks like someone's on my naughty list.
Ow!
Oh, yeah.
Santa! Wait, how did Santa Claus get out, guys?
Wait, how did Santa Claus get out? I thought we had
out.
It was a foolproof plan.
Let's
Santa
get-
Claus.
What's Santa Claus doing?
What's Santa Claus
Santa
doing?
Claus doing-
Santa Claus is doing something illegal and professional. Santa Claus, what are you doing?
Oh no, Santa Claus is powering up. Santa Claus is powering up. I don't like this.
Taste my beer. Taste my beer. Taste the beer.
It's disgusting. Stop.
Larry.
Oh! Stop it, I said.
Don't do that, Santa.
Listen, you gotta stop it. You gotta stop it right now, Santa. You gotta stop it right
In the
now.
name of the Republicans, stop it, Santa.
Nobody makes a fool out of Larry Householder. Nobody! almost forgot.
We'll get you for that, Santa Claus!
Why so glum, Mr. Irvine? Don't you know it's Christmas?
It's my favorite raccoon, Pookie. He's been shot. He's dead.
Poor Pookie. Arise again, my friend. I'm taking him back to the North Pole, where he can live with me all year long. Ho, ho!
Can I go too?
No, my favorite child. Your work is not yet finished here, ho, ho. But I brought you a special gift.
Thanks, Santa? Wow. Thanks, Santa.
Ho, ho, ho! You saved Christmas. You were always my favorite, ho, ho.
Merry Travmas, Santa. And Merry Travmas to you.
Merry Travmas.
Merry Travmas, and thanks for having me, Travis.
Everybody have a Merry Travmas.
Merry Travmas, everybody, and Trav bless us all.
Merry Travmas, y'all. Thank you.
Merry Travmas, everyone.
Merry Travmas, everyone.
Merry Travmas, Travis. How about happy holidays?
Merry Christmas for real this year.
Merry Travmas, everyone.
Merry Travmas.
Hey, Merry Travmas, everyone.
Actually, Merry Travmas. Mess? Like MESS?
Yeah, it's a mess. Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Merry Travmas!